Hi there, can you tell me who you are?
Hi, I'm Stan Hales, Director of the Barnegat Bay Partnership, one of the 28 National Estuary Programs.
Excellent. You were testifying here today in Lavallette, New Jersey, before two environmental legislative committees, the Assembly and Senate Committee, on the need for soil standards. Give us a little recap of the history of this problem. There was legislation passed to cure it, but that was 5 years ago and nothing's happened. Tell us about that.
Well, non-point source pollution is one of the biggest problems affecting the Bay. That is runoff from the developed landscape, all the daily activities that go on our turf, on our property, etc. And several years ago, the state, in a very progressive measure, passed a soil restoration standard that would require a certain bulk density and infiltration, allowing water to percolate back into the ground to reduce stormwater loadings of nutrients and sediments into the bay. And this was a great law, and it placed a burden squarely on the regulators in the Department of Ag to develop a standard and to implement it. And that was 5 years ago, and very little has happened. We really don't have a clear standard at this point. There's a lot of debate about the merits of the draft standard that exists and how it would be assessed. And there's also been some concerns expressed within the regulatory community that this would be an expensive measure to implement. And we disagree. I mean, first of all, we'd like to see a clear standard. And then second, we'd like an efficient standard developed statewide, because we think this is a way of cutting the source loading of nutrients to the bay, cutting the source load of sediments to the bay, and this would very firmly and clearly address the problem.
So this committee today, we'll hold off just a second. We unfortunately are near the Public Works garage, I guess. At any rate, part of the reason for this committee meeting today, I'm sure, was to draw public attention to this problem and the fact that it's been 5 years and essentially there's no standard.
Yeah, I think there's a little frustration within the regulatory community, and especially with a lot of the groups, federal agencies, state agencies, and others that are working to protect the bay. And 5 years ago, when the state proposed this law, passed the law, and the governor signed it and made it part of his 10-point plan for the protection of the bay, there were several other states that were working on similar measures, and those states now have measures, and they've come out and said, this is one of the cheapest and most cost-effective things that you can do to protect water quality.